let's move on, though. Another day, really, another hapless mess on the migrant front. You'll like this one. You know, this is on Monday, by the way. 260 more migrants came across, so still they come. And it emerges today that the Home Office recently launched a pilot scheme to keep a track of all these asylum seekers that continue to pour into the country at the rate of, you know, hundreds and thousands a week. Basically, so they're all fitted with these ankle tags, and this resulted in 2/3 of them going missing. And Albanians, they made a video. They called these ankle tags, they named them, they dubbed them British Rolexes. And these Albanian migrants made a video for the benefit of all the asylum seekers, showing them how to get the tags off. 2/3 of them then went missing. I mean, this ongoing catastrophe, this disaster is almost comical, but if you didn't laugh, you'd cry. And meanwhile, of course, the smash the gangs strategy remains quite literally 100% ineffective. So it is the best part of 6 months, of course, since they came into power. Yvette, Calamity Cooper and Calamity Keir, they've splashed out £150 million on state-of-the-art high-tech equipment to help their Border Security Command smash the gangs. The number of gangs smashed so far at that great expense, it's 0. It's none. I mean, it just beggars belief, doesn't it?
I'm going to make a little confession here, which is I love that story about the British Rolexes. I mean, it's tragicomic, isn't it? In no other country with any self-respect would this possibly be allowed to happen. You know, if you put an ankle tag on someone and they break it off, then that should be the end of days for that person. Whatever the consequences we can dream of that are truly appalling to contemplate, they would have to be the consequences for breaking off your ankle tag. There is no point in one that's just like a little rubbishy bracelet that you just have to, you know, snip off with a pair of kitchen scissors.
It's pretty much what it was, yeah.
What a complete joke. But wasn't there another type of ankle tag that only monitors whether the asylum seeker or whoever else it may be that's wearing it is at home.
Yeah, that's right, yeah.
Without a great deal of imagination required, the wearers of these ridiculous devices are cutting them off and nonetheless leaving the technology intact, and it just sits there in their house while they go walkabouts.
Yeah, and here's another thing, Isabel, the other comical aspect of this. The other way that the migrants and asylum seekers were getting around this was, wait for this, not charging their tags up. So they're required, you say, well, now we're going to put this tag on you and you make sure you plug it in every night. So what they did, many of them, was not plug it in, so the next day it didn't work.
Yeah, I guess they would just say, oh, you know, I've lost the charger, I've got, you know, one of Ed Miliband's electricity blackouts, you know, basically I've not got the system to do this, you know, bad luck. Honestly, sometimes words, I know I'm paid to actually talk.
Well, I know words are failing me too. They really are. Let's just leave this issue with one question. You know, you and I and other people on this station and other media outlets, day in, day out, we say, look, it's clear that this Labour government, its strategy when it comes to the migrant crisis is an ongoing disaster. It was no mean feat to take the catastrophe of the way the Tories handled the migrant crisis and make it worse. Not many people could have done that, so you've got to hand it to Keir and Yvette for that. But seriously, when are they going to be brought to account? Because this is now the best part of 6 months. Nobody caught, no gang smashed, and they're coming across in their hundreds and their thousands to cost this country. Bear in mind, every migrant. So 260 came, I haven't done the sums, but 260 came across on Monday. Every single one of them, as they are welcomed into the warm embrace of this country and given 4-star hotels and 45 quid a week and free food and free lawyers, free doctors, they cost us, you, me, every taxpayer, £40,000 a year. Every single one of them. Think about that, 260 alone on Monday. So the question really is, when are they going to be brought to account about this ongoing epic failure to deal with this escalating crisis?
Well, £40,000 is more than most people earn in a year. So that's everybody, those people, it's their entire earnings, the equivalent of going to accommodate one of these channel migrants. And once you've taken the tax, you know, that's a lot of people are about to pay their tax bills as it comes up at the end of the month. That really puts it in perspective, doesn't it? You know, the amount you've got to transfer to HMRC, if you're self-employed, you're running a little business, whatever, it's probably going to be quite a bit less than it costs to maintain one channel migrant. And actually, just going back to the story about the ankle tags and the pilot scheme that was being run there was a kind of acknowledgement as part of that scheme that most of the people that were being tagged were economic migrants anyway. They weren't genuine asylum seekers.
Of course they're not, yeah.
Yet still we've got this high-level systemic denial that perhaps the majority of those that come over in boats, I would go so far as to say definitely the majority.
Vast majority. I mean, it was some statistics that I've seen in the past are things like 84% of all the migrants who arrive on our shore are young men between the age of 18 and 34.
Yeah, and they're pretty enterprising. You know, these are people who've literally crossed continents and are prepared to take a few risks. And if we could actually harness some of those skills, that free-spirited, buccaneering attitude to life, then to something useful, perhaps they could be genuine, positive contributors to our society. But unfortunately, all we do is put them up in hotels, support them for months on end, literally years.
Years on end, yeah.
It takes so long. And then they sort of melt away and, you know, perhaps in due course, some of them will make a net contribution, but the statistics actually show otherwise.
Yes, and here's a bit of broadcasting verite. While we've been speaking, I've done the maths. Even with a calculator, I'm likely to be wrong, but 260 came across on Monday. So that's quite a low amount, actually. We have single days sometimes where 1,200 come across. So quite a low amount. One day, 260 on Monday. That will cost us £40,000 each a year. That will cost us this year, that boat full, or 5 boats full it was, those arrivals on Monday will cost us £10,400,000 over the next 12 months. That's just so that everybody can get a grasp of the scale of what this is costing us.
It's really, really awful when you think of what a fraction of that sum could do to improve, for example, a crumbling NHS ward, or what that sum of money could do to improve the situation in a school which has got completely overflowing classrooms and could do with more teachers. And in fact, all it does is exacerbate both of those problems, adding more people to the queue for NHS treatment and more people who will ultimately need to be educated when they, when they have children and so on. On and on it goes. It is absolutely appalling. And if the government can't smash their gangs, as we know of course they can't do, what they've got to do is start smashing the incentives to come over. This isn't difficult. Just stop handing out free stuff and advertising that you're handing out free stuff. And guess what? They'll stop coming.
Yeah, and so if you have one of those days where 1,000 come across, that's 40 million for the next year. And, deterrence is what we need. We need to say to them, you turned up here without any documents, you came across on an illegal boat, therefore you arrived here against our laws, you're under arrest, you're detained, you're not coming in, like Australia does. But we don't seem to have the will to do that. And let me tell you, Keir Starmer and Yvette Cooper will pay the price of that, because Reform UK in particular are cashing in on this egregious failure by Labour to even scratch the surface of one of the catastrophes of modern Britain. So Reform UK will benefit from this, and Starmer, who doesn't seem to understand it, is going to possibly lose everything. I hope so.